Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Dan.
There's Dan Torrey, and we're gonna have some dinner.
Yes.
I got my pink grapefruit just right in the middle of the shot here. Look at that. Dan and I are gonna do something that a lot of people hate it when we do, which is eating on camera.
Mhm.
We thought we would share a meal with you guys as best as possible remotely.
Yeah, we're eating
without
dinner
being
late tonight,
here.
too.
Really late. People are gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Wait, dinner? Isn't it like 10:30, 11 o'clock?" What
These
time
are
is it?"
these are the things. It's almost 11.
Yeah,
These are the things we do for you people. We did the live show. We didn't get to have dinner on time,
yeah.
but we love it. You know.
Yeah, we sure do. So I'm about to have a bite of this. I'm bringing up the comments. So, look, Back Studio says he's also at dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is just a really super unprofessional thing we're doing, and you guys just kind of have to deal with it if you want to chat with us. So we know, okay?
Mhm.
We're eating while we're talking to you guys, but we're just gonna share dinner with you.
Yeah, it's like the Captain Logan show after party.
That's right. Yeah.
You know?
I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this up. Like, I don't know. Should I actually keep this on the channel?
I think so.
Or should it just be like a special?
I think we should keep it up for years to come.
Or like if you were here in the first place, you got to see it, but then otherwise.
I mean, people are going to definitely want to enjoy like old meals with us years from now. So.
Sure. Yeah. Jeffrey just gave us $2 super chat while I'm eating.
Oh.
While we're eating, and he says howdy.
Great.
Howdy.
Hello, Jeffrey.
What's up, buddy? Jeffrey, I've met twice.
Oh yeah, that's
you know about
right.
Jeffrey.
I have.
We went to a TBG concert together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. He's a great guy.
Where in the country was that concert?
Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
He came to me.
Where is he from?
Jeffrey?
Yeah, or Jeffrey. I guess I can ask you because you're here. It's
Yeah.
weird to talk about him like asking.
I'm forgetting right away, and I don't want to be wrong about it. But I think he's also northeast somewhere. I just can't remember right away.
He came a long way.
New Jersey. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yep. And who's going on? He goes on road trips with his mom.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Michael Z says never had duck before. We're also not having duck.
We have not. We
What
are
are,
not.
what are we having, Dan?
This is chicken parmesan, baked. I made it in the oven. I made it with some Italian breadcrumbs, some panko breadcrumbs. It's got like an egg wash. There's some Parmesan cheese in the batter, and then I got the red sauce and the mozzarella cheese melted on the top.
You got Red Sox in there?
Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox.
Some Boston Red Sox.
The best, well, not this season, but the best baseball team.
The Royals haven't been great this year either.
Yeah.
My hair looks especially purple in this lighting.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yours does not.
No, it doesn't. I wish it did.
Really?
I wish it did look purple in this lighting.
You're just saying
And
that.
this lighting alone.
But what I'm saying, oh, you're just saying that. Dan has not said anything about my hair color. He's just been like, oh, look, it's purple.
Yeah.
And that makes me think he must think it looks awful. He must think it's just absolutely atrocious.
No,
Look
I
at-
mean,
look me dead in the eye.
I don't think it looks atrocious. It's not something I would do. You do you, man.
That was my favorite. That's what I knew you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I can't even stand to be in the same room with you. It's the worst. So you get away with turning this slightly so we get a little bit more Dan in the shot. Okay, I was too slight, but whatever. Michael C says purple looks better than neon orange or green. Challenge accepted. No, probably not. You know what Freddie said, my 4-year-old? This is delicious, by the way.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
I have not had spaghetti in 16 years.
Yeah, Cap was telling me about that, like, after I had planned to make chicken parmesan and spaghetti. And he was like, yeah, like, I have a thing with spaghetti. I got, like, really sick of it because I ate it a lot, like, for years of my life. And I was like, oh, I feel bad now.
No,
But
no.
they're not good.
Because you gave me the menu and I intentionally did not ask you to change it because I wanted to see what yours tasted like. It's very good.
Mm-hmm. This is some
You'll
whole wheat
understand if I
spaghetti,
don't
too.
have this entire plate because, oh my god.
No, it's a lot of food.
There's so much here.
No, of course not. That's how it's been. Like, I'd rather be generous with the portions than have too little food, right? So I don't take it personally if you don't eat the whole thing. Of course not.
We've eaten quite a bit today, right?
Yeah, we have.
So, Freddie is my 4-year-old, and Freddie said I should get orange hair
Oh,
for
yeah?
Halloween.
For what purpose? Look, I don't know for Halloween, but for a costume?
No, he was just like, we're just gonna be festive. It's like if you're gonna keep coloring your hair, Dad, in October, it ought to
I guess
be
that makes
orange.
sense because the Halloween colors are orange and black, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying to look like a jack-o'-lantern.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mr. Cool says, or dye the Geekvolution logo into it. That's where I really draw the line. I'm never gonna do anything like that. I'm not gonna do the whole cut a symbol in. I'm not gonna have a bat symbol in the back of my head.
Didn't you get the Geekvolution tattoo like tattooed on your
The
chest?
Geekvolution logo?
Yeah, just like
Wow.
gigantic.
You know, and you might say like, well, like years from now, you might wish you didn't do that. I'm pretty married to Geekvolution. Man. Like, I don't know. I think because cheese will be on my tombstone.
And tonight, we're eating cheese.
We are, yeah. You know why?
Because cheese.
Because cheese.
Uh-huh.
Inside jokes here on Geekvolution. Dinner with Cap and Dan. Let's
Huh?
see what folks are saying. Tanner P. Hey, Cap. And Tanner. Tanner I've also met in person.
Nice.
Have I told you about the lady who, this is Tanner's mom, who did my family's family portrait several years ago in
Yeah.
Tennessee? That's their son. He found us, and their whole family watched our channel,
Okay.
and they offered to put us up for the weekend.
I remember you telling me about this, yes.
And we went to New Orleans with them.
Oh, New Orleans, that's
And
awesome.
I've been there before.
Oh, you had? I've never
Yeah.
been. I really want to go to
I've
New
been
Orleans someday.
2 or 3 times. New Orleans is one of my favorite places. I love
Oh,
it.
I bet.
Mhm.
That's awesome. I've never, the only place I've ever been to in the South is South Carolina. That's the only state in the South I've been to.
I'm gonna play a song later.
Yeah?
I'd play it right now, but copyright flags.
Yeah?
But remember I was telling you earlier about John Linnell's state songs?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite tracks on that is South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sorry, what was it? You talking? AMC Comics. Should we answer like actual geeky questions on this, or
Yeah.
should we avoid anything that actually should usually go on the channel?
No, let's talk about everything. I want to, because people are kind enough to watch us eat. I want to respond to everybody.
Creepy Spacey. Cap, show us your Spawn action figures. I mean, I didn't put them in the suitcase. I'd have to check another bag.
Yeah.
I don't have them right now.
Well, you sold most of your Spawn collection too, didn't you? So
I sold the comics. I have some of the figures still.
Oh, nice.
I've sold some of the figures too.
Oh, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
But
like,
you can see my whole collection in Spawn Year. So somewhere
Right.
in Spawn Year, it's
Right.
all in there. Yeah.
Right. Somewhere.
Not that that's the most efficient way to see it, but
Yeah.
yeah. The coolest stuff I've gotten. Daniel Davis, are you liking the spaghetti? I am. It's so good.
If you want me to read comments at some point so you
So
can
good.
eat, I can definitely do that too.
I mean, you're eating too, but I guess you've eaten more than I have.
Right.
Ben Lute sounds like an exhausting recipe, Dan.
It didn't really take all that much to put together, to be honest. The egg wash and like the breadcrumbs, I didn't like make breadcrumbs from scratch. I just bought like boxed panko breadcrumbs, and I got some like Italian breadcrumbs in a can. Threw them together with some egg. Washed the whole chicken with it, and then I had it prepped in the oven. It was a 15-minute baking process, and boom! It took me 15 minutes to make dinner tonight because I had everything prepped already. That's the key. If you want to like cook for yourself and like do it a lot, you have to like do prep when you have time.
People avoid it because they don't want to spend 2 hours in the kitchen.
Well, yeah, like I was telling Cap, like preparing a whole week's worth of meals, like doing all the prep work. I was cooking from like 2 till like 9 in the evening before I went to go pick him up at the airport.
It's really cool of you, man.
Yeah. Well, I think it's worth it
For
because
some reason, Dan was like actually looking forward to me being here.
yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to apologize, by the way, because I know the mic on this iPad is not great. I did a video
really?
on this a couple weeks ago, and the mic was bad.
Oh.
But there's not an HDMI port on this, and so it would be hard to plug in my... But you've got that adapter thing, and it might plug into this. I don't know. Maybe next time we do this, we'll check that out.
Yeah,
I don't want to try to do it right now, I
Right.
guess, but people seem to be understanding what we're saying at least, so it can't be impossible. AMC Comics. I had not heard this. I didn't know this rumor was going around. Hey, Captain Dan, given the rumors of Daredevil being in the third Spider-Man, what do you think of Matt Murdock being Peter's defense and acquitting? We can't talk about that. But because Dan hasn't seen the new Spider-Man
Sounds
movie
like
yet,
you're about
but-
to get some,
but
into some trouble in that
what do you
movie.
think? What do you think? What do you think about introducing Daredevil that way? Because let me say this. So Dan and I had a conversation, a little bit of a debate the other day about whether or not it would be cool to see PG-13 Spider-Man. Daredevil. The main reason that, and I didn't actually say this when we were talking, but the main reason I was making the argument that I'd like to see a Daredevil that my kids can watch Not a really watered down thing that doesn't tackle some darker themes, but just one that's not as violent as that show. It's because I really like Spider-Man and Daredevil together.
Well, yeah, I mean, Spider-Man and Daredevil is one of the classic like Marvel comics for like friendships.
Yeah. So we're gonna reboot them. That would be the place to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I've always wanted because Spider-Man and Daredevil are my two favorite characters. Like seeing them in a movie together would be a dream come true. Like you said, as long as they don't like water down the character and try to make him into something that he's not, I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
You're saying I still say you can do PG-13 Daredevil without taking away everything that makes that character great.
I'm really less optimistic about it than you, but
okay, but you can. Right? I mean, you're less optimistic that MCU will do it well, but I'm saying it could be done.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. I'm less optimistic about like doing it at a PG-13 and like not watering down the character to some degree than you seem to be. But I would like to see Spider-Man and Daredevil in a movie together. The thing that's gonna be rough about that is losing Charlie Cox though, because he's so good.
He's so good.
Like he's like the definitive Matt Murdock to me. He's so good.
Daredevil is not like Batman or Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
He is not as versatile as those characters. Right? There's not like 1,000 different ways to do that character, which are all valid.
I mean,
and you can't say you're not sure we can do PG-13 without watering him down, and say you can make a bunch of different valid versions of that character.
Right. I mean, they have to walk a pretty precarious line. I think ideally, if they were to do something like that and put him in the MCU, they'd probably go with adapting Wade's run. I would imagine that's probably the place they'd go, right?
I'm sorry, I was reading comments.
Oh,
AMC
no
Comics, oh my gosh, sorry for nearly spoiling Far From Home for you, Dan.
It's okay.
What were you saying?
I was saying if they were to do an MCU version of Daredevil that is PG-13, they probably want to adapt Wade's run, right? Like that tone, style.
So I've heard a lot of people say that, and I think tone and style are absolutely right.
Yeah.
But there are things in that run that are the darkest Daredevil ever gets, which is what I love about it, because there's such a great juxtaposition in that series.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't have everything that made that run so good, right? Because it was the juxtaposition, like the thing that happens with like the casket with his dad. And all, I mean, it goes to dark.
It does go to dark places, and like one of the culminating moments of that run is so reliant on a pre-existing relationship with Bullseye, you know. So it's like they don't have to do it exactly like the comics, obviously, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Mr. Roboto puts in a $2 super chat. I don't know what he's talking about. He says, Dan, it's called Blue Apron.
Oh, Blue Apron is a service where they basically send you in the mail like pre-prepped meals with all ingredients and stuff. I think that's too expensive when you could just look up the recipes online, buy stuff at a grocery store, and do it for cheaper.
And then just plan out your day right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you're, like Dan said earlier, doing some prep work on a different day or earlier in the day.
Yeah, like I feel like
this is how restaurants do it.
Well, and like I don't begrudge Blue Apron and like people that don't want to take the time and effort to like plan out meals. Like if that's not your thing, like do you whatever. But
also, if money is no object.
Sure, like for me personally, like when I was cooking and prepping these meals, like I'm proud of the food that I've put out because it was my effort. You know what I mean? Like anything that I make, like I guess automatically tastes better to me because I know like I put in the work for it. I guess.
This is a good point. Gregory Davis and Daredevil could work well at maturing Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and because there's been discussion. I don't know how true this is. That allegedly part of the deal between Marvel and Sony is that there has to be a team up every time, and that's why they're doing that, and that deal wouldn't have happened if they hadn't agreed to it. Yeah. If that's true, and you've got to have one in every movie, I mean, Daredevil's the next right choice, and would be cool to...
Daredevil is the best
choice. Would also be a really nice change of pace in using that movie to introduce somebody new instead of somebody that's pre-established, where it always feels like... Because then it's Spider-Man's universe that somebody else is coming into.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And of all of the team-up choices in the Marvel Universe, like with Spider-Man, Daredevil is the one. Like that's like the best choice.
Yeah.
It's not like, this is, a potentially good choice for the third movie. Like that's what I've always wanted to see.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
And then moving on, as we're bringing in the X-Men and stuff, there's a lot of fun potential for Spider-Man and X-Men.
We could do the Kitty Pryde stuff that we do in Ultimate, kind of relation with them.
That'd be great. That absolutely, sure.
That'd be great. Because I would imagine, they'll like I would imagine in sometime in the future, just because it's Spider-Man, there'll be some sort of tragedy related to MJ, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Mr. Cool, that chicken parm looks so good. Got any other hidden recipes, Dan? Oh, he's full of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So much stuff this week I never get at home.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know where my laptop is. I can actually tell them what we're gonna have tomorrow.
Oh.
Entertain the folks.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to get more of this down, I think. I can tell you, I'm not going to be able to eat too much more of this, I don't think.
No, dude, that's all good.
My goodness.
Chicken parmesan is a filling dish.
It certainly is.
So tomorrow we're getting dinner out. We're going to Boston. So if any of you folks are in the greater Boston area tomorrow,
Boy, that's a good point. We should put out a social media call.
we should.
And say if anybody wants to come find us, we'll tell people where we're at a couple times.
Mhm.
And maybe we
I
can
think that'd be a great idea.
run into some viewers. I don't know if we have anybody in Boston, but
So tomorrow, I think on the menu is we're having veggie and turkey bacon omelets in the morning with home fries, and
oh yeah,
then we're gonna do for lunch. We're skipping lunch tomorrow. We're just gonna get snacks and movies, and then we're going out to eat in Boston. So I guess nothing too exciting tomorrow. I'm only cooking one meal tomorrow, but
yeah. And then we're gonna go to the movie theater, and I'm gonna ditch Dan 5 minutes into Far From Home. That's my whole plan. Let's see, Mr. Cool again. I would heavily recommend a recipe to you, Dan.
Yeah.
Taco meat, fettuccine noodles, and Alfredo sauce. Try it on the next dinner with Cap and Dan. You will not regret it.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Look, this can't be a regular ongoing series because I don't live here.
Imagine if we just like every so often just like live streamed us eating in separate places.
It'd be nuts. Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of like Cooking with Doomsvince, that show that you guys used to do.
Somebody said earlier when we suggested we might be doing this.
Yeah.
It's Cooking with Dan and Doomsvin.
If only Doomsvince was here, that'd be awesome.
This is a thing that when I was younger I never thought I would get to say. Like, it almost brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
That this is where the channel's at and where I'm at with my life.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just want to thank you guys. This is so cool. There are 30 people watching me have dinner. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The run. More than that for the Captain Logan show. There's a niche audience, really. You know? There's this divide. There's this BVS level divide of people who want to see eating on camera and people who don't. Can you believe not 2 hours ago I was like, yes, of course, guys, I would never eat on camera again. And here we are.
Eating v hunger, done of recipes.
Is it different when you pitch it as dinner, though? Is it different when you're like, okay, here's what we're doing. We're all going to have dinner together.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
It's not like we're like eating Cheez-Its during a commentary, because I've done that before.
Oh, you have? Specifically Cheez-Its? And you got hell in the comments.
Yeah, I
Remember
did.
that?
I remember that.
But my favorite thing about the commentary was every 5 minutes.
I was a hungry boy.
It was the best. Rainbow Color Warrior, I noticed you're drinking sparkling water cap. I'm trying to fully switch to that and cut soda cold turkey, but it's hard since no restaurant I know serves it. That's fair.
So that's not sparkling water, though.
It's sparkling ice. It has the word sparkling in it. This is deceptive. I've talked about this before. This is deceptive because it almost shouldn't be okay for them to call it water, right? It's not really water. It's somewhat carbonated, I think. Well, I have carbonated water, but like I don't think it should quite count. There's enough artificial stuff in it.
Yeah, it's got potassium benzoate, sucralose. That's a type of sugar.
Like, it's not as healthy for you as if you were drinking seltzer, which is what Dan usually drinks.
Yeah, which is just like carbonated water and natural flavors.
But it's more flavorful. There's no way to have a thing that tastes as much like soda as this does and not have some of those chemicals in it.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that.
Right.
And flavored seltzer, I'm building. I think when I say taste for it, I don't love it, but I'm building a tolerance, so I can drink it now. I've had 2 or 3 of those since I've been here. If I'm thirsty enough.
You like the raspberry ones?
I like them better than the lemon lime ones. Yeah. But still, it's better for you than soda.
Oh,
by
absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
They are right. This is right when it says no calories. This does not have calories.
Right.
Certainly. Blue Dragon 5. Wow, we're really doing this, I guess. We are. Mr. Cool, this whole thing is making me hungry, and I don't have anything to eat in my house. Literally.
No.
Roger Lee, $2 super chat. Is that superhero Facebook group still going? It sure is.
It is.
And quite active,
It's very active.
I might add.
And the discussions are great. Like, we have like debates about stuff. Like I'll disagree with people. People disagree with me. People disagree with Cap, and all the rest of
Of
people.
course, you're always wrong.
Yeah. That's
So,
fair.
Of course, people are disagreeing.
Yeah. But it's always like, no, at the end of the day, like no one like takes anything personally. We're all like respectful of each other's opinions, even when we disagree. Like it's a great community to be a part of. It's not toxic at all. Yeah,
I don't know what that word means anymore, but yeah,
the traditional, use for the word.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it actually means.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it if you want to, join a cool discussion group. Definitely check out the Patreon and
$5 a month on the Patreon gives you access to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Secret Superhero Screen Society.
Mm-hmm.
I've said enough times now I get all the order right. And you can get into it just by subscribing on Patreon at that tier, and then just send me a message and I'll get you an invite. Or you can find it because it is you can find it on Facebook, but you just can't get right in. So when you subscribe, if you are on Facebook already, you just ask for an invitation, and then I get you in there. That's how it works.
Nice.
Anyway, a couple more super chats here.
Oh, right on.
Day Ghost, $6.99 super chat. Thanks, man. Jeez, make sure to eat all 4 food groups for a balanced meal.
That is true. We didn't cook any vegetables for this meal, but chicken parmesan, you usually don't cook like vegetable sides for it, but maybe we should have done that.
What could you put with it that would go well?
Probably, I think broccoli would have went well with this.
Broccoli would go well with
Yeah.
that. Absolutely, I like broccoli.
I do have some broccoli. I'm going to cook that as well aside for one of our other meals we're going to do. So
Spinach, maybe.
yeah, maybe. I'm not a big spinach fan myself personally, so
Okay.
I wouldn't have cooked it.
Sure,
but
sure.
I think they might have went well.
Just trying to think of things that wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah,
Probably green stuff before like carrots or something.
absolutely. Yeah.
I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Italian food uses a lot of like basil,
Yeah.
green stuff like that. So
Basil Carlo.
mm-hmm.
Dewan Patterson Powers puts in a $1.99 super chat just because. Thank you so much.
Oh well, thanks, man. That's awesome.
I don't know how much more of this I'm gonna have. I don't know, Captain. We just can't take much more of this.
You did have a big piece there. All the breast cooked really big. Like when I
All the everything meat you bought this week were large pieces.
when
of
I
meat.
when I tenderize this, because that's something you have to do when you cook chicken and many other meats too, but chicken specifically, it's very important to tenderize it because if you don't, when you cook it, it gets like rubbery. So like you really want to like pound it out and make sure it's like flat and everything. And I feel like the breasts like grew when they were cooking. I don't know what happened, which is usually like the opposite. Of
Just add water.
Yeah, right.
Blue Dragon 5. Did I miss the entree? No, it's all entree.
It is all entree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Cool.
You want a beer?
I would like a
get
beer.
another one.
Sure, that
Alright,
sounds
great.
good. Yeah. And I've been having the lager. If there's another thing you wanted me to try, now's the time.
Sam 76.
Okay.
I think it's a mixture of an ale and a lager.
Let's do it. Let's try something on camera. Day Ghost says he went from never being on Facebook to being on it constantly because of the S. I'm still saying S's. Gregory Davidson says he keeps expecting DJ to pop up.
That would be nice.
We would have invited him for dinner, but he said he couldn't stay up too late.
Andy's in Atlanta.
Well, he also couldn't have actually eaten with us. We would have invited him to be on the video. But see, when Hangouts go away 12 hours from now, because it's happening tomorrow, it's going to suck that it's going to be so difficult to do a thing like this as casually with anybody on the other end, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to set up OBS, you'd have to get Skype set up, we'd have to be wearing headphones and stuff. Well, we'd have to do that anyway. But yeah, I'll still be able to do things like this because it's one camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a remote person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not another person in another place.
Yeah. Yeah. I I wish we could like do these like eating videos more often. That'd actually be really fun. Like as a Q&A, like
It's so
casual
it's so
kind of thing.
wonderfly casual. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're enjoying a nice meal with us in my home.
This
It's
is
welcoming
just-
you all into my home.
You're gonna love this comment. Ben Lutz. This stream has been more entertaining than the 3 MCU films from this year.
Really? What are the ones that came out this year? Endgame, Spider-Man, and what's the other one? Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to toot my own horn. This is gonna sound really arrogant of me, Dan.
Okay.
This might be more entertaining than Captain Marvel. It's possible. No, I enjoyed things about that movie. I don't love it though. Don't love
See,
it.
of all of the like
Don't love it.
the Marvel movies that I haven't seen yet, of course Spider-Man is number one. We're going to see it tomorrow. I didn't have any like
Am I
doubt that I was
going or
going to see
not?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm reasonably excited about just seeing the Skrulls. Like not even Captain Marvel, like the Skrulls, because the Skrulls are awesome.
I don't know if you'll like them there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if you'll care for what they did with them.
oh, that's rough.
Yeah. I will say, without giving anything away, really, it's gonna be a while before you get probably what you really like about the Skrulls.
Okay.
I imagine. Like, I don't think what's done with them in that is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's not gonna give you what you probably would be going there for.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
If you really like the Skrulls.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep an open mind.
Daghost, another $6.99 super chat. You could film Dan cooking noodles with no commentary, and it would be more entertaining than Captain Marvel.
Wow, I didn't know people hated that movie so much.
Gregory Davidson, you guys need to re-edit this stream to incorporate flashbacks everywhere to make it comparable to Captain Marvel.
Do people like really
We're
not like that
bashing
movie?
Captain Marvel here. A lot of, I think maybe, I don't know if this is right to say, I think maybe a lot more comic fans don't care for it than general audiences.
Really?
Here's the thing, that movie made a lot of money. A lot of people went and saw it. I don't hear people saying a lot of nice things about it. I think there was a lot of indifference and then people not liking it, right? And I don't even think it's a real polarizing movie. I don't think people thought about that movie real hard.
Yeah.
There's the politics of it, where there were, I'm sure there were some arguments from people about like the importance of it and like,
That's all contrived.
You're,
It's all
you're
a
supposed
marketing
to love
gimmick.
it because it's a female lead. And,
This is just a marketing gimmick.
yeah.
Um,
I have, I don't know if anybody noticed this. I didn't until just now. I just spilled this all over my pants.
oh my god.
It just
do you need a paper
all
towel?
over. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Thanks,
Here
buddy.
comes the paper towels.
You know, I had this. Oh God, God, God.
Oh,
Just right on my foot.
oh, sorry, man.
I don't know if I'm more glad or less glad that we decided to shoot this after all this. But again, see, there's been a little bit of action here, and we didn't even plan it. We didn't
I know.
choreograph.
Cap's
We
officially
didn't-
hammered. He's spilling beer all
We
over
didn't
himself.
storyboard. I am not. I am not at all. Look, I've spilled too much beer out of both of these bottles to be hammered.
True.
Wow. I'm really glad that I'm only shooting it from the waist up.
Yeah.
Look at that. Not you guys. But anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping the battery life on this iPad holds because it's not showing me the battery life. I don't know if I tap it, if I can
Maybe.
if
I'm
I
not
can
sure.
see it.
I've never owned an iPad, so.
Well, me neither. This is my first one.
Yeah.
I'm loving it so far, though. It's great.
Yeah, it
Read
does
comics
look-
on it.
That's awesome.
It's a good looking machine.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dan, what kind of Sam Adams is that?
This is
Asks
Porch Rocker.
Arthur L19. Say again?
So this is Porch Rocker. So Sam Adams is one of my favorite beer brands. The brewery in Boston I've been to a couple times on the brewery tour. They make a lot of great stuff. Porch Rocker is one of their summer variety pack beers. And you can buy them in like 6-packs too. But I got like a variety summer pack for us. It comes with Sam 76, Porch Rocker, Summer Ale, and Boston Lager, of course. That's like their classic, go-to. So I like Porch Rocker a lot. It's it says on the bottle, refreshing and tangy Radler. I don't really know what that means, but it tastes good to
Is
me.
there a snake in the bottom? Like you fit a whole snake in the bottom.
Yeah.
Somebody said earlier that I shouldn't let the tastiness get cold. I think I've had as much of this as I'm going to be able to
Yeah.
eat.
No, that's
it's just very filling.
It's very rich.
Yeah, it's really rich.
Yeah.
And not to get too personal or anything, but as you know, really acidic stuff doesn't agree with me.
That's
super
true
well.
too. Yeah.
I used to have kind of a stomach condition,
Yeah.
and I'm better now. There's a lot of stuff that I can eat now that I didn't used to be able to eat, but I can't go too far.
That's fair.
Especially tomato-based stuff,
Yeah.
specifically. Dado says the scroll story is taken from the Abnett Lanning Guardians run, which I actually can confirm that seems to be true
Oh.
because I just recently read the Abnett Lanning run. I didn't
Oh.
tell you about this because I didn't want to give away anything from Captain Marvel because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you what happens in that run. What they do with the scrolls in that seems to be inspired by the scroll thing that I told you about.
Interesting.
That's in that.
Huh.
And I hesitated. I haven't put the review up yet. I have reviewed that now.
Yeah.
And I hesitated in the review saying that that's where they got it from because it could have been in some other book. I wasn't sure because that's not a Guardians movie. It's Captain Marvel.
Right.
And so interesting that they took it from that. But if that's indeed what they did, but I don't know. It seemed
The
like
Skrulls and the Kree are in a lot of different Marvel things, so like it makes sense for them to pull inspiration from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking. I'm seeing some. I saw a question I wanted to answer. Let me try to find it. Just a moment. There's some super chats I'm gonna need to get to here in a second. Somebody was asking me about Buffy, and I can't find that comment now. I'm gonna
I
keep
think
looking
the
for it.
super chat is about Buffy. I just saw it on the screen.
Maybe they reposted it as a super chat.
It's this guy here, D.
Yeah. But he's farther down. Let me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I'll just go ahead and handle it now then.
Yeah.
So that's Dewan Patterson Powers. Thanks, buddy. $10
Yeah, no
super chat. Hey, Geek Solution. That's me. I'm Geek Solution. No, Geek Solution's the channel, but yeah. You mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer in some of your videos. Just curious what your favorite show and favorite character and favorite big bad. So I am bigger into Angel than Buffy. I love them both.
Yeah.
But Angel is how I fell in love with that universe in the first place. So I had seen a little bit of Buffy, but I couldn't get real into it. And then when I watched Angel, I fell in love with that world, and I was curious about Buffy. So now I'm certainly a fan of both.
Yeah.
But Angel inches it out just slightly, and I think has a better last season. And ultimately, as a whole, all the way through, it's a better show. Buffy is harder, so it's not really fair because it has 2 extra seasons, and it's harder to keep things fresh.
True.
But Buffy's 5th season is miserable. It's just awful. If you ever watch through that show, there are 2 episodes in season 5 you should see, and beyond that, screw it.
Is 5 the last one?
No. So Angel has 5 seasons. Buffy has 7.
Oh, okay.
Buffy season 5 is awful. Buffy season 6 is a mixed bag, but I like it more than most. Just like Angel season 4 is a mixed bag, but I like it more than most. And then season 7 is interesting, but I don't love it.
Okay. Interesting.
Best season of Buffy is 3. But only if you love Faith, and I happen to love Faith. Favorite big bad is the mayor from season 3, and his relationship with Faith is one of the best things in that show.
Cool.
Absolutely awesome. And favorite character in all of Buffy. I'm gonna do one for Buffy and one for Angel. In Angel, it's Lorne. I love Lorne, and in Buffy, it's a toss up between Faith and Spike. Although I also love what we do with Spike in Angel too.
Cool.
But yeah. So there's a little bit of a Buffy breakdown there.
I've never seen either of those shows. I probably should watch them at some point.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy some of it. I mean, it's a mixed bag, but I mean, like, I think you'd like that show.
No, I mean like what I've seen of Whedon stuff. Like
Yeah.
I love his Astonishing X-Men run. I love what he did with at least the first Avengers movie and parts of Ultron.
And it's hard to say if you would dig Buffy and Angel more or less than Firefly. Hard to say.
I've never seen
But you never
Firefly
looked
either.
at Firefly
Yeah,
either. Firefly is less of a commitment. So I mean,
There's only one
maybe
season,
start
right?
there.
Yeah.
Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. Hey Cap, how is Boston? I'm loving it so far. I went to the beach yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really been to the city proper yet.
Yeah, sorry. New Hampshire, I'm enjoying a lot.
Yeah.
Boston had a fine airport. I didn't spend a lot of time.
And it's called
there.
Logan Airport.
It is. Captain Logan was in the Logan Airport.
Mhm.
That's right.
When I was a kid, whenever we would like go on trips, drive into the Boston airport, I'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the Wolverine Airport."
So we've been at this for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Does anybody else think this should be a thing?
Like meals, a live show.
I'm really enjoying this.
Maybe, yeah, I'm enjoying it
I
too.
mean, just doing stuff this casual. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously the Captain Logan show is not that different from this. but like,
We don't
it's
have a
so
chat
laid
monitor,
back. I'm just
yeah.
really enjoying this. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, this is really great.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work. Most certainly.
No, I agree.
Mr. Cool, $2 super chat. Thanks, man. I really should be sleeping. I work at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh no.
Well, good night, man. If you go to sleep.
Yeah, we don't want to keep you up for your, keep you from your
Michael
job.
C, keep doing this, please. Everybody's saying yes.
Oh, I'm
this
glad
is
people are
this is really
enjoying that.
cool. Yeah. And you know, like I could be live streaming video games, and there would be like action and more things to look at. You know what's really funny? We've got more people watching than ever look at the video game streaming. And all we're doing is sitting in front of dinner.
People are here for our illustrious
Scintillating
personalities, you know?
conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Dwan says, thanks for the answer. No, thanks for the question. I don't get to talk about Buffy a lot. And it's been a while since I've been through it. And so, racking my brain, remember, oh yeah, then there's that episode. One of my favorite things is the Faith two-parter in season 1 Angel.
Have you ever
It's
done analyses on Buffy
fantastic.
before?
I have not. I've done a podcast or two where we've done kind of just,
Overviews.
overviews.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of requests for season overviews and things like in the
Yeah.
Rewind format, and I don't know if I want to commit quite to that.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to do
It would be.
something on it.
And it seems like something you're really passionate about. You really love. So I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
it'd be a passion
One of my
project for you.
favorite, absolute favorite.
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Absolutely. David Crabtree, while you guys really did the dinner video thing, that is what we're doing now. Yeah. Like I told you, Dan does not seem to have a problem with just a camera being there.
Nope.
Let's see what else is going on. Daniel Davis, I sure hope you enjoy your New England visit. It's quite beautiful. Like I said, we went to the beach yesterday. Got to see the mountains.
Yeah, we went to
Farm background.
Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. I don't know if any of you have ever been there before, but it's the biggest lake in the state. It's beautiful. We went to Weirs Beach, which is kind of like the most touristy commercialized beach on the lake. But it was during the week, and it was after all the major summer holidays, so there was like no one there. It was great. Because I went there with my girlfriend on the 4th, and we did like the cruise on the lake and stuff. It was like 3 hours long, and we were on the beach, and it was really crowded, but it was really like nice and peaceful when we were
Yeah,
there.
it was like it wasn't deserted, but it wasn't loud.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
I'm not like inherently a beach guy, but like I'm from Kansas and I haven't had a lot of opportunities.
That's why I figured I wanted to take you on.
I went to a beach when I went to California. That was the first time I'd ever seen the ocean.
Yeah.
And then we went to a beach, not in an ocean.
Yeah.
And it was just really peaceful. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really enjoyable. I kind of lost track of time there.
That's the
we
thing.
were just having dinner and chatting, and it was
And
great.
you could
We
see
should
the
bring a camera next time.
Yeah, you could see you see the white mountains in the background, and it's beautiful.
Mr. Cool, you need to go to bed. Okay. Thank you again. $2 super chat. Dinner with Cap should be a talk show with guests. That could be really cool.
That would be
I
cool.
don't know
Kind
if
of
I
like
can go
how
for it.
didn't Kevin Smith used to do a show like that?
Did he actually have dinner on it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
he
don't
he
know.
would like go to restaurants. Like he did one with like I think J.J. Abrams, Stan Lee,
Oh, that's cool.
and I think there was a third person. But he would do that like all the time.
There was, and I can't remember if Kevin Smith was on it or not, but there was a featurette on the 60s Batman box set that is exactly that.
Oh.
That Stan Lee and several other people, Phil Morris is there.
Oh, interesting.
Phil Morris is an actor I like a lot. I've met him a couple times.
Oh,
He's a really
cool.
nice guy. I've talked to him a lot.
What is he in?
Phil Morris was Martian Manhunter in Smallville.
Oh, cool.
And he did some voiceover work for the Bruce Timm shows.
Was he Martian Manhunter in that show, or did he do other stuff?
He
Okay.
wasn't, yeah. I forget who, I think he was he Vandal Savage? I can't remember.
Oh,
but he
interesting.
was some different things. And he's a character actor.
That's cool. That's awesome.
His father was in the original Mission Impossible, and then he played the
Oh.
same role in a reboot later.
Oh.
Series on TV.
Oh, before the Tom Cruise series started?
Yes, yeah, television. Yeah.
Nice.
They were real tied to CBS.
I didn't know that there was like, because I knew there was an original like Mission Impossible show. I didn't know that they tried to reboot it on
I think
TV
in the
before that.
80s.
Oh,
if I'm remembering right, I didn't know that either until he told me about
Yeah,
it.
that's super interesting.
And Phil Morris also has a. I know the food's getting cold. I'm done. We'll just take this off camera because I can't eat anymore. There's so much there.
I'll clean up.
We've eaten some today. But
I'll be right back, folks.
But yeah, Dan, he has or when I met him,
Yeah.
he had like a 20,000 piece comic collection.
I have 20. Piece of what?
A comic collection. He was like a big comic collector.
Oh, that's awesome.
Phil Morris.
Then playing Martian Manhunter for him must have been a dream come true.
Oh, it absolutely was. Yeah.
Because Martian Manhunter was a great.
Yeah, he was great for it. Oh, I was right. He did play Vandal Savage, unless Daniel Davis also got it wrong. Oh no, I'm sorry. I said Stan Lee. I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. I meant to say. I'm sorry. It's late and I'm tired. I meant to say it was 60s Batman. So it was Batman.
Oh, it was
Adam West, yeah.
Okay.
I guess in the back of my mind, I was just thinking like major people associated with comics that have recently died. I don't know why. I don't know why Stan Lee came out. But when I said Stan Lee, I in my head I said Adam West.
I was Batman.
No, you weren't. Batman is most popular character. Well, yeah, actually, it kind of is. Yeah, Mr. Oh my God, is he doing it again?
Yeah, it is. I don't know
What is going on with these bottles, man?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, it's not my fault. I didn't do it. Yeah, I didn't. It's not my fault. Mr. Weeping Dalek, 299 super chat. Dan, what didn't you like about Endgame? I'm assuming Endgame. He says A4. Thoughts on A3. I'm assuming he means Avengers 4 and Avengers 3.
I
That's the
liked-
best guess I can get from that.
I liked Infinity War a lot. I thought it was a really good movie. The thing I didn't like about Endgame was that it was just a like nostalgia fest for the MCU movies, where they were just going back to like the greatest moments of that like the films, like a celebration of them. Which I get like why people enjoyed it. I just would have preferred if they told a new story
Okay,
rather
that
than.
is what he meant. Okay, cool.
I just would have preferred if they told like a new story rather than just like relying on the novelty of going to the past and like seeing all the stuff we'd already seen before. I loved Infinity War because when I was going into that movie, I saw so many things I had never seen before. You know. And Endgame did have some stuff like the big battle at the end, but by the time we got there, I was just so bored seeing like all of just like wacky comedy in scenes in better movies. And from my perspective, anyway, I know I'm in the minority a lot. Everyone loved the movie, but I don't know. I just wish that we had given more attention to the character arcs of the other Avengers as well, besides Cap and Iron Man. Like I think I did a really good job with them. Like I thought the way Iron Man's story ended, I thought the way Cap's story ended was great.
And I've been so invested in that for so many years in writing about it that
Yeah.
that was all really good chaos for me. I've got issues honestly with the way Tony goes out,
Really?
but and the time travel nonsense with Captain America at the end doesn't make any sense. But I appreciate where we're left.
Yeah, I mean, and
if we're gonna take him out, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Of that. And the right guy got the Captain America shield guy. Like,
See, I would have preferred Bucky, but
okay, but Falcon's
his
the
own.
greatest character that has ever been on film. isn't
yeah,
he? So-
I don't. I guess I'm just not as big of a Falcon fan as you. But
Well, you don't know about this ongoing thing.
I knew how much you love him. Yeah. But I was
I
also
also play it up really hard.
yeah.
Specifically on the live shows.
Yeah. I also was disappointed.
Cut the check! Cut the
Of
check!
course, with the fact the way that Thor was handled and the way that Hulk was handled, I felt like the Professor Hulk thing could have been interesting if they like got him there for a specific reason for his character. It was just like the time jump, and then all of a sudden they make some like off-screen excuse as to why he's like that, and the Hulk's played for comedy for most of the movie. The Hulk is a character with like darkness and pathos, like that's the reason why he's interesting, and making him into comedic relief character is dumb. And that's not the sin of this movie necessarily. Ragnarok did a lot of that legwork too, but I don't know. It was just in many ways lackluster compared to because I had really high expectations because I loved Infinity War so much,
I don't think in Endgame, as far as Thor's role in it, I don't think Thor would have been nearly as disappointing to you if he had been handled the same way in Infinity War.
Yeah,
Because
he was
you do
great in
stuff
that
with him in that.
Yeah.
And right after Ragnarok, and you said something on the live show earlier that I want to fight you on a little bit.
Okay.
You said, because it's largely true, but there's these sparks. You said that like Thor doesn't act like Hemsworth doesn't act anymore.
Yeah.
And Hemsworth is always like doesn't want to play Thor anymore, and he's always just playing himself, and that's true. But when they give him the right drama, he's still really good. He's just not getting the right material.
Yeah.
And he wants to just do improv all the time.
Yeah,
But if the
exactly.
man would let himself evolve as an actor,
Yeah.
he's fine. And the stuff they gave him in Infinity War to do, he's got some actual real pathos there.
And let's be clear, like I don't think he's a bad actor. I like in the first and second Thor movie, like the first Thor movie I love. The second one isn't good, but like with what he's given, he does a good job with it.
I don't love the first Thor movie. I love him in it though.
Yeah. See, I love the first Thor movie, and I think he's great in it. Like, I thought he was perfect when that movie came out for the role and everything.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just, he seems to have this attitude now where he just doesn't want to do anything besides improv comedy in all the movies he's in.
Yeah. More people asking about that movie. We just can't get away from MCU today. Dwan gives a $14.99 super chat. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. This might be a long question. It's been a long question.
That means I got a long answer.
But since you dislike Infinity War in Endgame and Endgame, now Dan's saying he likes Infinity War.
Yeah, I like
he
Infinity
doesn't care for
War.
Endgame. And let me weigh in just real quick and say, for me, Infinity War and Endgame are not complete films, so it's really difficult for me to completely disconnect them. Infinity War doesn't have an ending. And so it's really, like, it's hard for me to completely compare them, but if I have to, Infinity War is technically the better movie, but it also frustrated me to no end with the way it handled Thanos. And I didn't have anything like that in Endgame, because they didn't take a character that I love, turn him into a completely different thing, and a thing that I am confused about. And so that's my issue with Infinity War, and it remains so, and nobody's changed my mind about it yet. But anyway, since you dislike Infinity War and Endgame, again, Dan likes Infinity War, how would you do it? In Captain America summoning Thor lightning because whoever is worthy to wield Mjolnir also gains Thor's powers. You actually mentioned that in the show earlier.
Yeah.
Where you were like, how come he doesn't just get a suit?
Well, like that's how it's usually worked in the comics. Like when Donald Blake in the first appearance in Journey into Mystery, he goes into like a cave and picks up like a cane and like bangs it on the ground, and then he like sprouts the Thor costume, and it's like a big, strong version of Donald Blake. That's why he's got the blonde hair and everything.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the mythological version that's got the red hair and stuff. And then like later on, we do like the Tales of Asgard flashback stuff, and Thor just happens to have blonde hair and that stuff too, because they're trying to be somewhat consistent with the way the character looks or whatever. But like that's what happens with Beta Ray Bill when he gets Stormbreaker. He gets like his own version of the Thor costume, and same thing with Jane Foster when she picks up Mjolnir, she gets her own version of the Thor costume. So,
and is called Thor for some reason. That never makes sense to me, but
it's just the MCU is like different rules, I guess. So
yes,
maybe the way they'll handle it in Love and Thunder is like Jane will be worthy to wield the hammer, and then they'll give her like her own armor costume or something. Like the Asgardians will make her armor or something.
We didn't talk about this earlier when we were talking about our issues with Thor and how we felt about what we found out so far about Thor 4. If it's Jane Foster picking up the hammer and it's not some sort of contrived, she's got her own hammer or some other weird thing happens, I do not see how that movie makes Thor unworthy, and I'd be okay with the fact that he's not unworthy in Endgame. I will never understand.
Well, they don't really have to, because there's two hammers now.
Well, that's true, but Stormbreaker doesn't Does Stormbreaker have the same thing that Thor's hammer does, though, where you can't pick it up unless you're worthy?
I have no idea.
It doesn't seem to.
Well, they've never defined the rules about it. Like, I don't think we've seen anyone else wield it besides Thor.
Captain America also.
Did he wield the?
They both do. So there's a point in that fight where he's got Stormbreaker, and then Thor trades him and says, "I'll give you the smaller one," and he trades him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They have them both, but he's also the only other person we've seen wield that. But Odin didn't put the incantation on it, so like.
I doubt they're thinking that hard about it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
They just wanted to have.
All I'm saying is
CGI action and explosions.
Well, yeah, but we also haven't seen that movie yet because they haven't made it. So I'm just saying it is possible.
I was talking about Endgame.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, she could turn into Thor for any reason. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
sure.
There could be even a third hammer. I mean, like anything can happen.
Yeah, sure.
Jimmy Parker, $2 super chat. Favorite FF story or run?
I'm a big fan of John Byrne's run. I like that stuff a lot.
I've never read that.
It's really good.
I should do that.
I
don't think I've ever read much of a full FF run.
I haven't read all of his run because it's like 2 omnibus volumes, but I have the first one and I've read that one and it's really great. Of course, like the Lee Kirby stuff I've read is really great. There's like a lot of goofy parts to it, but it's a classic run. If you've never read that stuff, you should read it. I've heard Mark Waid's run is really great, but I've never read that. And I like Jonathan Hickman's run of what I've read on FF because I've read like the first arc at the beginning that I have in a trade, and then I started reading it right before I think Johnny Storm died.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I think I have to say Hickman's probably my favorite run, but that's the most FF I've read, and then before that, it's just the Galactus trilogy.
Yeah,
Certainly.
which not too shabby. Those are all great comics.
But I'm also always more for the side cosmic stuff in FF than I am FF. I'm always more for Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Sure.
The stuff that comes out of it.
Sure. Silver Surfer's a great character too.
Noah O. Cap, are you excited for Ghostbusters 2020? I want to be, certainly. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about it.
Is that the one that the original director's son is doing or whatever?
Yes, and it's apparently a pass the torch movie to kids. They're trying to kind of capitalize on the Stranger Things thing. So the new Ghostbusters will be teenagers, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Could work. I mean, it's not necessarily what I want, but it could work.
Sony in their desperation.
It's more complicated than that with this particular project.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah. It sounds much more like a passion project than that. That is not Sony grasping for straws as much. I think they are probably trying to rush it before everybody dies. But yeah.
So like everyone besides Egon's going to be in the movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I guess we don't know that for sure.
Like, do you think they're going to be able to get Bill Murray to come back?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But they always said they wouldn't make it without him, so
the
assumption is that he's there, and people probably know more about this than I do because I haven't been following it real hard. Because that's the thing I would kind of rather be surprised by, and I got so sick of every morsel being shoved at us about 2016. I kind of don't want to know anything about this movie going in.
I think it's probably
I'm enough of a Ghostbusters fan that no matter what it is, I'll go see it. I mean, the 2016 movie looked awful, and I was going to see it regardless. So if I could stay away from trailers completely, I would too. Like I'll probably talk about at least the teaser, but like I don't want to know too much about that movie.
It probably behooves them to not release as much leading up to it as they did last time either, because of how much of a bad taste that movie left in people's mouths.
The way to handle it is, and they won't because it's Sony, and we know how they like to advertise movies. But
they'll put out a 16-minute trailer before the movie comes out.
I mean, like that movie is, I think, still filming.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're at in the production on that, but a couple or 3 months ago, they put out a little teaser that was just the car with a tarp over it, and the tarp comes off. Like they're already giving us footage this far out, so they will not handle it the way that you're saying, and you're absolutely right that they should handle it. It should be like First Class. That's how you handle that. Real backdoor. That's not how they'll do it. Yeah, Danny Boy, where should I start reading Fantastic Four?
That's an interesting question. I think the obvious answer to that is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's run, because that is the run on Fantastic Four.
Of course, that's not always accessible to everybody.
Exactly. If I were you, I would start with either John Byrne or Jonathan Hickman. John Byrne's run, if you like classic 70s, 80s Marvel comics, like when they were kind of in their heyday, like when X-Men was going on and Spider-Man was great, and like every book at Marvel was kind of like running full steam ahead and was really great in the 80s. And John Byrne's Fantastic Four is one of those comics, and it's classic like serialized Marvel storytelling with modern sensibilities, so that stuff's really great. I'd recommend either Byrne or like Hickman's a good place to start, I would say too.
The thing with Hickman that you just have to know is like try not to be discouraged by the cryptic stuff where like you don't really know where it's going, because he's notorious for that. That's just how he writes, and if you read the whole run, it will come together. So just know stuff will pay off, and you'll get what's going on later. Hickman likes to interrupt himself with setup issues.
There was like a thing with Ronan in that book, I remember.
Black Bolt's that way too.
That's
the 5th or 6th issue.
Because Ronan's involved in that stuff too, I think.
I don't even remember Ronan in that, but you're probably right.
There's some sort of inward with Ronan. Anyway. So.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Yeah. Also know that his one covers 2 different volumes of Fantastic Four and has a book called FF that starts after the ostensible death of Johnny Storm.
It gets weird because like Fantastic Four gets canceled after Johnny Storm dies, and then you have Future Foundation, and then that runs
Which
until
is what FF is.
and that runs until he comes back, and then you have Fantastic Four and Future Foundation running simultaneously. And Future Foundation's about the kids. It's about Franklin and Valeria.
Yeah, and at the same time as that's going on, when we bring the book back, because we, like you said, we shut down Fantastic Four as a book, and we start Future Foundation, and then when it comes back, we bring the old numbering back, starting with 600.
And Future Foundation's really cool. They didn't really do a lot with him, but Hickman put Spider-Man on the Fantastic Four team in that, and that is that is the team of all the teams in Marvel that Spider-Man should be a part of.
Yeah, and of course he is an Avenger at the same time.
Yeah.
But they never make me buy that he has time to do all the things he's doing.
No.
But apart from that, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like overlook that stuff just because like Spider-Man has such a like interesting and great pre-existing relationship with the Fantastic Four. Like that's something that I've always thought would be a cool idea to see. And I guess they've done it before when they did that weird Fantastic Four thing where it was like Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Joe Fixit, and who was the fourth character in that weird? You remember that like weird FF issue?
I was reading a comment. I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay. The only other time Spider-Man has been on the Fantastic Four, remember that like weird issue where it's like Ghost Rider, Joe Fixit, Spider-Man, like I think the fourth character.
No, I've never read that.
Oh, okay.
How far back is that?
I think it's in later John Burns run that I haven't read yet.
Yeah,
but it's like it's a famous issue.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who else.
Sorry, I don't. If Eric was here, I'm sure he'd know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a weirdly worded question. I don't completely understand it, so I'm just going to read it as it is. Dwan gives us another $10 super chat. Thank you so very much. Due to Jack Kirby Fourth World works in Eternals not working due to characterization, did Stan Lee Marvel method balance him out? Since I always heard about in comic fandom. I don't know what.
So the question he's asking is, the Fourth World stuff that Jack Kirby did at DC was supposed to be a part of the Marvel Universe, and they started introducing it in Thor. There's like a part in Stan Jack's run in Thor where they start to like begin introducing some of the New God stuff, and then Jack leaves, and he takes those ideas with him and goes to DC and does all that stuff. And I think when he comes back to Marvel later, he does the Eternals, which is the thing that the movie's going to be based on. So the other than like what is this question again?
I'm not sure. Something about the Marvel method balancing Stan Lee out. I don't know what any of this means.
I think like as far as the Marvel.
Sorry, Dwan, I'm just not totally getting your question.
As far as the Marvel method goes, I think like a lot of people give Stan Lee either too much credit or too much crap for his role in that relationship. I think it was you can't remove Stan Lee or Jack Kirby from that equation and get the kind of success that Marvel achieved. Like, both of those men are integral. And of course, like the other artists like Ditko and Wally Wood and Bill Everett, like all the people that were involved in creating that stuff.
And no one will ever fully know just how lazy or not lazy Stan Lee was with certain books.
Right.
You're just never going to know that.
When you read them, you can tell the ones he cared about more, like Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, the writing quality is much better than a lot of the other books that he kind of like comes in and does issues here and there. Like he's on for like the first few issues of Hulk, and then he's like sporadically on it, and he clearly doesn't care about that as much as he does.
But there are places where Kirby claims that Stan Lee didn't even write the dialogue. And we're just never gonna know that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? And Ditko said similar things. Like he said that he was responsible for most of the plotting in Amazing Spider-Man while he was on that book after a while.
Jimmy Parker, $2 super chat. Dan and Cap, Marvel or DC, which do you prefer? This is a classic question. I always have the same answer. You know my answer? Batman. Your answer is Marvel.
My answer is definitely Marvel. Spider-Man has always been my favorite character, so like that was my kind of my gateway into the Marvel universe, and I just know their characters better. I know their world better. I know the universe better.
Yeah, sure.
I find their universe to be more interesting generally than the DC universe, because the Marvel universe was created to be a cohesive universe where all these characters existed, and DC was kind of like a hodgepodge of characters from other companies, and they tried to like shove them into the same universe together, and it works reasonably well. Especially like the New 52 DC universe, like I liked that version of the DC universe a lot. It was really great. That's when it started,
isn't it sad? Like just before Flashpoint, that's yours, right?
It is, and like that post-crisis era of DC was of all time.
Or in the 90s. Yeah, like 90s has the 90s as a decade has the reputation it has. Besides variant covers and the holofoils and all that stuff, is that 2 out of the 3 major companies were making mostly of the time when the art, by and large, wasn't that great, which is really weird because it's more
Yeah.
the directed medium now. Although you could make the argument that most teams have kind of figured out that give it that reputation, and DC had some books like that.
Absolutely.
Particularly in the mid to late 90s, but in the early 90s, they were in really good shape. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot that wasn't good. Like some of the best, I've been told, and you've read some of it, some of the best flashes in the mid 90s.
Oh, it's like Mark Waid starts on the Flash in the '90s when Wally West. Wally West is the Flash for a while, and I've read some of that stuff, and he's not all that distinct of a character from Barry Allen. Mark Waid comes on and runs with it and does the best Flash stuff ever. Jeff Johns follows him and continues that run up until like the mid 2000s, and it's fantastic. So like if you read that like 10-year run of the Flash, it's like the best stuff ever. It's amazing. And then you got like Kyle Rayner, Ron Mars, Green Lantern stuff going at that point, which is really great from what I've read of it anyway. I haven't read a ton
Obviously,
of
my
it,
favorite Batman and Superman stories are all in the 90s.
Exactly.
That's all I ever talk about.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired of hearing me say it.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite stuff. And
And was Perez still on Wonder Woman at that point?
I believe so.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm not totally sure about that. In my opinion, DC also had a lot of the best art at that time while nobody was paying attention
I mean,
to
George Perez was working at DC. I don't know if he's still on Wonder Woman, but he's one of the best artists who's ever lived. You
it.
know?
And almost everybody that was drawing Batman was drawing a really good Batman.
Yeah.
You know, and of course that's the Breyfogle era. Obviously, Breyfogle's late 80s too, and that's my
Yeah.
favorite Batman artist.
And I'm a big fan of Scott Collins, the guy that did a lot of Jeff Johns' Flash run. And
Yeah.
he's a fantastic artist too.
And I've not looked at a lot of that, but I need to read that at some
You
point.
should.
I
It's
mean,
really great stuff.
I don't know if we were having a problem with the stream here for a second. People don't seem to be having a problem now. But AMC Comics a couple minutes ago said the stream has gotten drunk from all the alcohol on the screen, which is amusing. We'll probably go ahead and bid you guys adieu here in a minute. Alex Barron, do you guys believe the buzz that Joker is an Oscar caliber film? I think the trailer looks great, but the director has me nervous. I think they cut a trailer that makes you that is trying to make you think that it's an Oscar caliber film. I have no idea what that movie is actually going to be like, but it looks like an Oscar bait trailer. Like they cut it like that.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, interesting.
I really do. This conversation Eric and I have had, we're in agreement on this.
Oh,
It looks like a trailer that a lot of Oscar baity movies are cut like. So I have no idea what the actual movie's going to be like. But there's a strategy there in the marketing, certainly.
That might be true. I mean, I just haven't watched a lot of like the trailers for like Oscar baity movies, I guess. It didn't really make that impression on me. I'm really excited about that movie because it looks like the complete opposite of what Marvel's doing in a good way. It looks like a very small character-driven story, not focusing on the big connected universe stuff. It's not as much about the action. I'm really excited about that kind of an experiment. I hope it does. I hope it's good, and I hope if it's good, I hope it does well.
Me too. I think it could go either way. There are things in that trailer, and you can't take too much from trailers. I always say that. And this is Eric's concern about it.
Yeah.
It looks like it could go either way. It could be a really by the numbers movie. Like it could be.
Sure.
It could be so formulaic.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not. But
yeah.
And a lot of people are freaking out about the thing that the director or the producers or somebody came out and said that they like didn't look at the comics at all.
Yeah.
And like that, people are freaking out about that.
It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I think like the Joker's origin is such a like there's been so many different versions of it. There's no there's no definitive version of what the origin is in the first place. I guess
There's not, but I guess Eric's point. I don't mean to speak for Eric, but he's not here.
Yeah.
But like, because I don't know where I land on that.
Yeah.
So but the argument's interesting.
Yeah.
What Eric says is, yeah, but if you don't know what the different origins are, like you should probably read them and then decide what movie you're gonna make. Like, and also what makes it. Eric's afraid that it might be a great movie that does not need to be a Joker movie. They're like, what's the point of it being a Joker movie if they're not even going to look at the source material at all?
I mean, I think they probably looked at the source material in the sense that, they are aware of who the Joker is as a character, and this version of the Joker is them building towards what the iconic version of what they view the Joker as is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily have to, know every origin of the Joker and, distill or adapt any of them necessarily.
I tend to agree with you, but I'm more somewhere between where I'm like I'm not super nervous that.
I'm just excited for it because it looks like they're taking a real risk with this movie, and doing something different.
No, that's interesting. Alex Barron also says Joker's also debuting at the Venice Film Festival, which is usually reserved for art house and Oscar movies.
Oh, interesting.
That's very interesting.
That's cool.
Mr. Roboto, Cap, since Gotham is done, will you and Eric do a season review? Probably not. I may finish it and do a solo spoiler cast, but I doubt that Eric and I will
This is Gotham
do
he's
that
talking
together.
about?
Gotham, yeah.
Interesting.
Dwan, I know you did. Oh, Dwan earlier also said, so you like Batman, but you don't like DC. I didn't say that. As universes, looking at like all of the stuff in Gotham and the whole Batman thing, I'm more interested in that than I am either of the other universes collectively. But if I had to choose a universe as a living and breathing thing, it is Marvel before it's DC, but that is a misleading thing to say because I like Batman and the smaller world he lives in more than I like either DC as a thing or Marvel as a thing.
Sure.
That's what I mean when I say that. You right?
Yeah.
Dwan, I know you dislike Spawn, but are there some ideas on how you would do it? Would it be a superhero or horror based in your writing without Todd McFarlane involvements? And like I've never really wanted to get into comics, but Spawn would be the one thing where I'd be like, yeah, give me that because I want to fix it.
There's so much
I wanna fix
potential
it
there.
so bad. There's so much potential.
Yeah.
The main thing is just to be consistent and stop retconning things every 2 issues and stop writing back history and never going forward.
Right.
The Todd McFarlane seems to think that good drama is about developing background that he's constantly like changing anyway, but never actually moving a character forward.
Yeah.
It's always about the past,
Yeah.
and it's not about being proactive. And the other thing is just whether it's a horror or a superhero thing, I tend to think that mine would be some mix of both. And like at its best, it's always been a mix of both.
Yeah.
Spawn just needs to be a sympathetic character, which doesn't mean he has to be likable. And I would probably make him somewhat likable.
Yeah.
But I need to understand why he is who he is. You got to start with, do I really buy Hell would pick that guy? And why did Hell pick that guy?
Yeah.
And I never bought that. And anyway, I mean, I could go on about this forever, and I have. And whenever people bring up Spawn, I'm always like, well, I've said all these things 365 times.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Guidi, $1.99 super chat. Will you watch or review The Boys? It's so good. I'm not planning on it. I'm not. People keep asking me about the show. It does not sound like my thing. I know it's a superhero thing and it's based on comics. Maybe down the line at some point I'll look at it. I've heard nothing but bad things about the source material from people that I trust, including Vince and Eric, and it just sounds like, if you're into this, nothing against anybody, but it just sounds like really mean-spirited kind of violence for the sake of violence, really cynical stuff, and it might do that stuff really well, and I'm not saying that there's not room for cynicism in fiction, but I don't really want to watch it. I don't know.
And I don't know, man, there's so many superhero and comic book things now, how does anyone have time to watch all this stuff,
Yeah.
And of all the things you want to prioritize,
I mean, you could say, well, Cap, it's your job, and you could be doing that instead of making a video of you and Dan having dinner.
Sure.
But I never promised to review everything.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the goal for Superhero Rewind is eventually to do an analysis of all the movies, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even an attainable goal at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I have to watch every TV show as it's coming out.
And I don't think you have to. And I wouldn't if I were you.
I don't wanna. I'm not saying I definitely won't, but I don't know. I don't really want.
Well, you already gave up on watching all of the superhero things that are produced anyway, because you don't watch any of the CW stuff anymore, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge portion of it.
I need my brain. It's important. Okay, we're gonna have to get going because Dan and I actually have some other stuff we gotta do.
Yeah.
But everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and you guys are wonderful for popping in for another live show, random impromptu thing. Dinner was delicious.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you so much for it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys again soon. I am sure we could do another one of these. It's possible it could
Yeah.
happen. We probably will not tell anybody about it. We won't post on social media. We'll
It'll be a
just start
surprise.
broadcasting, and if you happen to be around, you can have dinner with us.
So stay on YouTube around dinner time until like
I was
11.
gonna say dinner time. It's like, how late are we talking?
Yeah,
Exactly.
5 to 11. Be on YouTube.
Gregory Davis said, have another dinner right now. I can't eat one more bite. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Dan, I've had such a good time with you so far, man.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that I was able to,
Oh yeah.
and that we could do that. Great. We'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Dan.
Bye, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
I gotta reach over here and turn the thing off. Bye, everybody. Where's the? There it is.
Is that it?
Yep. End.